The focus of this video is the principle of rhythm. Watch all the videos in this series about the principles of design. Find related printable sketchbook pages on my website. Links are provided in the description below. Start by watching an overview of the elements and principles of design. In summary, elements of design are the basic building blocks for artwork. Principles of design are methods that can be applied to each of the elements. Opinions will differ about which items should be included as elements and principles of design. You will find varying lists. It is more important to understand and focus on how they are defined and used. Let's take a look at how Peter Bruegel used elements and principles of design in his painting called Hunters in the Snow. There are lots of people in his painting. He emphasized the forms of people in the foreground. The artist created the illusion of depth and made the people in the foreground appear to be much closer to the viewer and much more important. The forms in the distance are proportionally smaller to create the illusion of distance. The colors in the foreground are brighter and there is more contrast between them. To create the illusion of distance, the artist made softer colors in the distance. Peter Bruegel used proportion with color to create the illusion of distance. The principles of design work together in this painting. Let's take a look at how Keith Haring used elements and principles of design in his sculpture. The flat surfaces in this sculpture are shapes. The three-dimensional sculpture is a form. Keith Haring balanced the shapes and forms symmetrically. The spaces around the shapes and forms have also been balanced symmetrically. Let's take a closer look at the principle of rhythm. Rhythm involves the repetition of elements and sometimes creates the illusion of movement. Let's compare rhythm with pattern. In a pattern, the same elements are repeated in regular intervals. In this brick pattern, the same rectangle with the same color and texture is repeated with the same space in between them. In this image of a stone wall, the stones are different sizes and have different colors. This stone wall is a rhythm. We see rhythm all around us. It is in the repetitive way that trees grow, waves move, pebbles collect on a beach, and much more. These things are repetitive, but not in an equal way like the brick pattern. This is rhythm. We can have rhythm with shapes, rhythm with forms, rhythm with colors, rhythm with lines, rhythm with textures, and rhythm with spaces. We can use the principle of rhythm to suggest movement. Our brains seem to connect rhythmic elements that are assembled in a sequential manner. We can imagine the movement of the geese in flight, the movement of the running antelopes, and the movement of the drummers as our brains make connections from one sequential image to the next. Victor Vasarely used shapes to create rhythm. In these two works of art, the artist achieved a strong feeling of movement by using rhythmic shapes. The repeated rhythmic forms in the Canadian National War Memorial sculpture help us to imagine the movement of the figures. Vincent van Gogh used color to create rhythm in his painting of irises. Similar colors are repeated in the flowers, leaves, and more. The viewer's attention moves from place to place, following the direction of the sequential changes of color. Emily Carr used lines to create rhythm. Her rhythmic lines create a strong feeling of movement across her landscape. Claude Monet used texture and rhythm in his well-known series of the water lily pond. The artist created the rhythmic, repeating textures of the willow trees, reflective water, and pink lilies. Pablo Picasso used space to create rhythm in these two paintings. Both works of art are filled with repeating similar spaces, such as rectangles on the left and triangular spaces on the right. The foregrounds and background seem to melt together, causing us to wonder which things are shapes and which are spaces. Let's try it. Print the sketchbook activity page provided. A summary of the principle of rhythm is given. Print the worksheet provided also. Create a collage with different colored and textured papers on the wrong side of this worksheet. I used random shapes with torn edges. Now turn the page over and cut out the rectangles. The rectangles will have similarities and differences, like the stone wall example earlier. This will help to create rhythm within your artwork. Assemble the rectangles in sequential order on another paper. In other words, the rectangles should be assembled in order of their gradual change. Create movement by varying the spaces and angles. Trim the edges. Try it again with different sequential elements of your choice. Share your ideas with your friends. This is an important part of creativity. Add the information page and your artwork to your sketchbook. Add additional comments. I'll see you back here soon with more art activities.